Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. I couldn't be more excited to have Avi Arya here, who is literally globetrotter. He's in Delhi, he's in Vancouver. He happened to be in New York for 2 or 3 days, and Ayush, my A-Rock, was following your Instagram story, and he just reached out to you, and God, 24 hours later, you're sitting in the chair across from me, man. So I'm super psyched, and I thank you for on such a tight schedule for making the time.
Not at all.
To be here, man. So if I could just set it up a little bit. Yep. So you're kind of like, you're obviously a very successful digital marketing entrepreneur, but your story into that world is almost like a Gary Vee-esque wine library story. Your parents, and you correct me if any of the facts are wrong,
Absolutely.
but your parents owned a small hotel,
right.
And I think you were getting into some trouble racing cars, or your dad said, okay, you got to come to work for me a little bit more seriously. And this was like back in Google AdWords time, like early 2000s, and you really kind of blew up your family business in a matter of just a couple of years,
right?
Using videos and Google ads and stuff when no one else was really doing it,
right?
And in a matter of a couple of years, you guys built like 5 hotels and really blew up the family business,
right?
And then using those lessons that you learned building up your own family business, you were like, wow, I could really help like huge companies that are running hotels do this, and then onward you go, and you develop this very large digital marketing firm, which I think predominantly specializes in the hotel industry.
At Internet Moguls, we have only hotels as clients.
Okay, and big hotels.
All of them.
Which is amazing, and you're basically producing digital content for them,
right.
For marketing.
Yep,
them.
absolutely.
And
absolutely.
What I find fascinating about it is, one is like, you're like a kid from India, and like, your family has a family business hotel, and you develop this into like a worldwide, company, which the biggest companies in the world are reaching out to you, and you're servicing them, which is in and of itself an amazing story. But I think behind all of this is having just the idea that, okay, you know what, I did this for my family business. A lot of folks just stop there, like my family business has grown to this level, but to have like the drive to like see a bigger vision for that and say, wow, this is something that could really be its own entity. And now it's probably, I don't know if it is, but it's probably bigger than the hotel businesses that you had.
It
right?
is. Absolutely is. Yeah.
Wow, man. So I'm so excited to hear about all of that, but I'm more excited to learn about the man that's behind all of that. So again, if I correct any of those facts, but
bang on. Thank you for the research.
All right. Awesome, man. So why don't you tell us a little bit about growing up? So your family had a family business. You grew up in Delhi. Mm-hmm. What was like, were you working in the business like in the summers as, how'd you get involved?
No, so I was born and brought up in Delhi, and I was extremely overweight, and I never had confidence issues. I wanted to talk, but I used to stammer as well. So with stammering and being overweight, you're not a popular kid. And I was a very popular kid in my head, So I wanted to reach out, meet more people, do all of that, but I couldn't because of many things that I was going through. And so, we always had these large video cameras at home for whatever reason. My dad was not into technology, but we always had a camera for a birthday party or whatever. Either we'd rent a camera or do something, or the photographer would come in with a camera. So I would always hog the limelight and say I want to be in front of the videos and all of that. Because in front of the video, somehow I didn't stammer. And I could say whatever I wanted to or whatever. I don't know, maybe I didn't feel judged, or I thought it's just me against the camera or whatever. That was one phase. Then I found my calling in streetcar racing, or at least that's what I thought.
So what is that exactly? Like racing cars, like drag racing?
Well, you know what? A drag racing would be a more finer aspect to it. But at that time, just the fastest car in India was maybe 1,000 cc. So just race at night.
Like a Fiat or something? Like
no, that was a NE 118. It was part of the Fiat family and one of the slowest cars you've ever driven. But that's what we had. So Dad used to go to sleep. I used to put the car in neutral, take it out, and go and just, race with people. And people started getting interested and said, can you organize this for us? And to call a few people, because there was no social media, no cell phone.
So what year is this?
This was school got over 94, so between 94 and 98.
Okay, so you were like, 18, 19?
Approximately.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought I'm going to, that's what. So I just called everybody who wanted to race and say, I'll organize it for you and I'll race for you with you and all of that. Crazy.
Like just down the street?
Yeah, just down the street. Just make sure
like it's some remote part of town or something?
Yeah, not really, but in the middle of the night, and just make sure that, that there's no legal
cops.
hassles. Yeah,
right.
There's no cops. That's why they came to me, because I said I'll take care of everything else.
Did people pay you for that?
People started paying me for that. That's when I started thinking that I'm a business person. The term entrepreneur was not as commonly used back then. People started paying me for that, saying, can you organize a race for me and all of that. I was just on the verge of getting into that. when my dad called me to his office and he said,
So your dad knew about this?
he started getting to know about this.
Okay.
I didn't know how much he knew, but he called me to his office one day and he said, and I talk about this, very often because I can't get that image out of my head. He had these two landline phones. Every time my dad went to anybody's home for dinner, he would always say, "Do you have a landline? Can I sit next to it?" Because he was connected to his office. So his two landline phones were off the hook. My dad's phones were never off the hook.
So you knew it was serious.
I knew it was a very serious conversation. And, I come from that generation back there. You don't look your dad in the eye. So I'm looking, at everywhere around the room but my dad. And he said, Avi, I'm going to make it a very short conversation. And I've got two options for you. I've got two other kids. And,
Older or younger?
Younger. I've got a brother and a sister.
Okay.
And we had a family separation. So my dad lost everything. He just basically lost everything. We came to a rented house and the cars went. My grandfather was in the army. So we got my grandfather's old car.
Okay.
So, and that's what
So
I
your
was
mom
flashing.
and dad separated?
No, my grandfather and my dad separated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. So he was kind of cut off.
Yeah.
From,
So my dad lost everything in his 40s. So so he said, we have nothing. So we just have this old place, which used to be a go-down, which is now converted into a 30-room, guest house, not even a hotel. So that's all I have. And people are coming and making phone calls in STD and, phone calls, whatever. That's where I'm making my money from. I have nothing. I'll make sure I don't get you out of the school that you're in, because I went to one of the finest schools in the country, because I want you to be in that school.
you were at university there?
No, I was I finished my school when this happened, and by the time we come to this part of the story, I was going to university there, and he said, I won't change your schooling or college, whatever. I'll try to afford that, but I can't afford anything else. But with your streetcar racing and, staying up all night and all of that, this kind of discipline is going to spoil the other siblings as well. So if you want to continue down that path, go ahead, but you have to leave the house. When he said that, I almost wanted to cry. And
did he say it like that, that calm way, or
exactly.
was it like
he exactly said it in a very calm way. He said, I've
Wow.
got two options for you. Either you do this because we've lost everything, or you join the family business from tomorrow. And if you decide to join from tomorrow, then 7:30 a.m. I want you behind the reception of the hotel tomorrow morning. So so I was like, I stormed out of the room and I was like, how can my? And mom was waiting outside, typical Hindi movie style.
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole thing, and she was like, I said, one of my best friends was a supermodel. He got into modeling, and so he got lots of money from a big commercial he did. I called him up. I said, you know what? I know you got 3 lakhs. Give me 1.5. And he's like, you take the money tomorrow morning, but that's going to run out very soon.
How many dollars is that? How much is that?
At that time, it was so $6,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said, you take the money, but it's going to run out very soon. I think it's a better idea that you sort it out with your own family. So I spoke to mom all night. It was one of the longest conversations we had. And I think better sense prevailed, because the very next morning, for the first time in my life, I woke up at 6:30 or I didn't sleep all night, something like that. And I reached my dad's small hotel, and I learned housekeeping. I learned to take care of the small restaurant that he had. But I also learned that my dad is a rock star at what he's doing. So he had these two. Firstly, he didn't crib that he's lost everything. He till date, he never spoke about what he had or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and dad used to be models, both of them, back then. They were frowned upon. Modeling was frowned upon. They were extremely good-looking human beings, both of them. Dad used to drive a Mustang in his days,
wow,
or whatever.
nice.
He built it up, and then for whatever reason, they lost everything. So we came.
What was just? I mean, not to pry.
Yeah,
but
no, not at all.
What happened? Like,
we had a family separation, and
like over money or something.
I don't, like I said, I have an idea, but like my dad says, don't look at the past. And
Okay.
Till date. And I said, you know what, you're 71 years old, you want to, in your legacy, you want to tell me something. He said, there's no point looking at
So you
the
don't
past.
even really know all the details. You just kind of.
I know because my mom told me some things, but I give my dad all the respect and I say, forget it, let's not talk about it. So we basically came to nothing, absolutely nothing. And there was debt, which I got to know much later, because I was like, if we have a hotel and we have something,
Right, you guys
over
are
a roof,
good then, yeah.
good, right? So dad said, no, we have debt. So we inherited debt, which I was very upset about, like how do you inherit debt? And that means something. But he said, let's not look at the past. So we moved on. I started working in the hotel. I realized he had these 2 registers.
So were you still in school also at the time?
I was in university.
Right. So you were going to university and working in the hotel.
Well, I was never interested in studies because just then my grandfather had died, the one who gave me the car. gave us the car. He was a major general in the army, so very senior rank. The gentleman used to speak, read, and write 14 languages, including Korean, Mandarin, English,
God.
Cantonese, all of those.
Holy crap.
So he thought I should also, I'm his grandchild, so I
Right.
should be, an expert at everything. So while he was alive, he made sure that I did extremely well in school. But the day he died, and I wear his kada even now, I took it off from him, when he was going. And when he left, so I used to get 31, 32, 33 out of 100 in maths. He said, this is not happening. We moved to his house. I started studying with him, all 98s, 99s, all of that. So getting off there. Then one day he just had a brain stroke. And I remember I was studying with him 3 months, day in and day out. And I said, one day I need off. One day. So I called my mom. I said, please ask for a day off. And she said, okay. She asked for it. She said, I'll give you a night off because I had to go to my cousin's birthday. And my dad picked me up and he came to drop us till the elevator, my grandfather. And he said, in Punjabi, he told my father that, MBA zarur karana abhi, that's our plan. So my dad was like, he didn't say anything. And I was thinking, this conversation can happen in the morning, I just have a few hours. But we reached home and we got a message that he fell and he died. That was the last time I saw him. So that was the last message that I got from him.
So you need to get an MBA.
I did. So that I did a distance learning just because I wanted to tell him that I did it for you. I just did it. I don't think anybody else. I don't think it was worth it for me. But I did it. So that was sort of the mindset that was happening there. Lost, but tremendous love from both parents, saying that we're not allowed to crib. Even now, in our family discussion on a dining
table. Suck it
table.
up and work through it.
Yeah. Rona kis baat ka, my mom is always like, it's a beautiful day. And everything is like, achha, can we not crib about things?
Right.
Let's see what can happen. Families together, everybody's healthy. So nobody's allowed to crib. So that thing was there throughout. So while all of that was happening, I saw dad is doing a great job of running a hotel. I was like, what will I do here? He had these 2 registers. One was like, so dad, even now, till date, he's 71. Since as far back as I can remember, he's always had a migraine every day of his life. And there are sometimes so bad that he can't sit. So he has to stand for 24 hours because that's the only thing that makes it bearable. So, you know what? You assume people to be the way you are. So dad thought everybody's got some ailment. So he had a register where he used to say, you don't need to get embarrassed. Just write down what you want. So somebody wrote whatever medicine that they felt they wanted. It just ticked. So he would send that to their rooms. So they felt very looked after. So that was like a personalization, not called personalization, but it was personalized attention to that. And then he had another register which he had offers drawn. Somebody had done that drawing. And a very nicely created offer said, if you come back within the first 3 months, this is what you get. You book today and whatever you want for the future, so that he could get cash today, which is called advanced purchase in our industry now. All these terms came later. But he had something sorted out.
Right.
So I was like, he knows what he's doing.
That's pretty ingenious.
Yeah. He still is amazing at what he does. Full time, 12, 14 hours a day. So I said, what am I going to do here? And, I'm never going to get credit for anything that I do because this guy knows what he's doing. So I wanted to do something for myself. And one day there was this foreign guest who walked in, a foreigner. We assume he was from Netherlands or somewhere in Europe because he paid us in Dutch guilders. We converted that money. We used to have 2 different tariffs at that point in time. An Indian tariff, every hotel, every travel company. You could charge an Indian tariff and a foreign tariff.
Okay.
And so, right or wrong, but that was the situation that time. So we charged him in euros or Dutch guilders. Turned out to be almost double the Indian rupees.
Oh, wow.
I was like, why can't we have all 30 rooms or 40 rooms full of foreign guests? And then we double the income, double the family revenue, and I'll become a star in my dad's eyes. So I was like, no, that's what I want to do. That has to happen. So with that in my mind, I said, now how do I do this? So you're thinking about that.
So you're what, like 22 at this point? 23?
Approximately. I'm getting to that age, yeah. 22, 23, 21, 22. Yeah. And
not to cut you off, were you like pretty tech savvy then? Like, no.
I still am not tech savvy. I'm a marketing guy.
Okay.
I have, I get my tech sorted out somehow.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
But so no, I wasn't. But so my cousins were abroad. Some of them in London, and they told me about this new thing called the internet. I was like, heard about it, very fascinating. And then
this is 2000.
No, 2000, 2001.
Okay.
And we at one of the leading exhibition grounds in India, there was the Internet Carnival, Internet Mela they called it. Many friends went there. One of our friends got a CD-ROM for 550 rupees for 50 hours of internet access or whatever. Slowest speed possible, but we all went to his house and everybody got 10 minutes on the ICQ messenger and all of that. So I was like, this will help if I want to reach out to these people, because everybody, all of my friends, we went to this guy's house and everybody who's accessing the internet is calling their cousins or friends overseas.
Right.
So that's what I want. I want these overseas people. So this will work for me. But then New Delhi had only two places. One was a 5-star hotel. The other was a British school library that 650 rupees they were charging for half an hour. Somewhere approximately
That's like
that
pretty
way.
big money, actually.
Yeah. So it was only for very few people. So it just remained a thought for many, many months. And then one day I saw an ad in the papers on computer company said, looking for cyber cafe partners. And I was looking for this kind of an information. So I instantly called this guy. His name is Rohit Sikand. He's still a friend of mine after so many years. I called Rohit. Rohit said, now he knows he'll be one of the first persons to call him, because people didn't understand what a cyber cafe was. Then they changed it to internet cafe or whatever. So I called him and I introduced him to my dad. We made a deal happen. And I told my dad, we'll have to give 20% of the restaurant for this and another part of the area. My dad's like, restaurant's already doing well. I said, but this is the future and this will happen or whatever. And there was a business model around it. So we got that internet cafe thing done. And now after this stage, I had...
So Rohit was a partner in it?
No, Rohit was just one of the guys who worked for the computer company who was just, he was like a salesperson for them.
Okay, gotcha.
So
this was your idea, make a cyber cafe in the restaurant?
Yes. There was an ad, we saw an ad in the paper, and that's how I said we need a cyber cafe. And they had a business model around it.
That's amazing. That's interesting, because your foreign travelers would want that anyways, to have internet access.
Yes, exactly. But my main idea was to say that if I am able to reach out
to
people,
you needed it for yourself.
I needed it for myself.
Right.
Yeah. So I, whatever business model around it, I made it happen and made the picture, even more interesting for my dad. And so dad said, fine. We had to make some amount of investment, which was very difficult. We got that done. I went into forums, Yahoo, I think, had a forum, and there were many other forums.
These like those group chats and
absolutely,
stuff, right? Okay.
And that's when I created my handle, Ask Avi Arya. A lot of people think I did it after meeting Gary. And although Gary is a big influence on my life, but Ask Avi Arya started from there. Ask Avi Arya, any question related to India travel. That's how I started my first handle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So people used to ask me about India travel, where do we come and all of that. And I used to say that my dad has a small place, come and stay with us. And in turn, I used to go to other groups and ask people, how do I get more people and websites and all of that. So somebody said, you don't even have a website,
Yeah.
Now
like the hotel doesn't have a website.
Hotel doesn't have a website.
No, not a lot of people had websites.
Nobody had a website. Right. Nobody.
Did Oberoi must have? Like the big hotels must
Only
have
the big hotels.
Right,
Only the big hotels. Started with the 5-7 stars and maybe some Indian hotels. Maybe some Indian hotels. Because today we made the websites for almost every Indian hotel. So we knew that what state they were at before us, or before that phase. So that happened, and I found a company in Bangalore which was doing websites for international companies, because Indian companies couldn't afford websites.
Right. So and just for people that aren't from India, like Bangalore is like the San Francisco of India.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. So they didn't do Indian clients. So I asked this guy, the owner of the company, I think his name was Narayan. Should get in touch with him because I just remembered the name right now. And he said 2 lakh something rupees back then. It was a lot of money, 4,000 Canadian dollars, so 3,000 US dollars.
To make your website.
To make the website. And so I convinced my dad, and I told this guy, I said, we pay you in 7 installments, 8 installments, whatever. Between him and dad, so we try to make that work. And that way dad is always like, as long as he's working, doing something, let's support him. So we did that, and I was like, if this let's see how the website goes. All the bells and whistles, whatever I thought, going to the forums, asking people what should we do, what's not right with the website. Website got launched after about a year. It was ready in 6 months, got launched after a year because we didn't have the money to pay them in full, and they wouldn't release the website till then. Website got ready, nothing happened to the business. Then went back to the forums. Now I was like, this time my dad's going to throw me out of the house for sure.
So was your dad like, I spent $4,000 and like...
He's like, what do I spend money on? Exactly. You'd rather take care of the customers. They'll be happy, whatever. But he didn't say that don't invest money, because he always said that, you have to invest to get your money back. So his investment used to always be, he used to change the signage of the hotel every year.
Bigger sign, brighter sign.
And that always worked.
Yeah.
And so his energies always went there. And he said, you've tried this, it's fine. If it is not working, let's not push it. So I went back to the forums and I asked people. They said you don't have a query form. You need toll-free numbers because foreigners, when they come to India, they don't trust an Indian number. They don't have a toll-free number. America has toll-free and all of that. So I learned that. Whatever I learned, I started putting on the website. Then people said hire somebody for SEO. Now, there's nothing called SEO in India. Nobody knew. Nobody. How do I find people who know it anyways? So when I started learning a little bit of how to put tags on a website and how to do.
So were you managing it yourself at
Yes,
that point?
absolutely.
So you learned how to do it.
I learned how to do whatever I could at
The
that
basic
point in time.
stuff.
The basic
Okay.
stuff.
So the Java, whatever it was, what was the language? Is it JavaScript?
It was JavaScript, but it was very much copy paste.
Okay.
And this was just the forum guys saying, what are your top 20 keywords? I said these are them. Okay, just put those 3 keywords there. I would put it. Okay, I've done it. What else should I do now? So I'm not taking credit for anything that I knew.
But you implemented what someone told you to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I implemented
on the back end of the website.
Exactly. I implemented everything they told me to do. Everything. And we started getting clicks and we started getting searches. Searches. I was on.
So is the phone ringing more then?
What's that?
Is the phone ringing more?
The inbox, we started getting emails.
Okay.
The query form, we started getting emails. So I realized now there are 3 forums that I have. One is a phone call, the other is the inbox, and the third is the chat. Is the query form. One is the email that I said info at, and the other was the query form. So there are 3 ways that I'm getting business, but I was not tracking it.
Wait, so the form, the email, what was the third?
And the phone call.
And the phone call.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, oh fine, now I've got 3 channels. So now I started getting more interested going to office because now I had stuff waiting for me.
Right.
I didn't have a laptop, so I had to go to the office to see what emails were coming. Connect to the internet, slowly downloading. The first 2 hours was
so
downloading.
So it's like 14.4, it's like that kind of dial-up
something like that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Which is like siphoned off in 10 different ways. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours, I'm like, because that was normal. And I'm going to go to the office morning, I'm going to download my emails.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm downloading my emails.
Have some chai while you're waiting for the emails
exactly.
to download. Right.
Or check in some guests and see the rooms.
Yeah.
I always, even now when I go to the hotel, first thing I do is I check my room because somebody many years ago told me that, your product has to be clean or whatever you're doing. So first check that. So I always do that first. So I used to do that, download the emails, come back, and so you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails. Then I started seeing that I get more emails from people who are coming from certain links on my site. And then for the first time, I started focusing on the front end, saying, that Google is listing my keywords on the front page. That's why these people are coming.
So what were they? What were those?
Hotels in Delhi, Delhi hotels, 3-star hotels in Delhi, 4-star hotels, boutique hotels, every single keyword. From now to another 1 year from there, I was listed on every keyword, first page position on every keyword. Every keyword.
Because you optimized your website and Google learned it, or did you pay?
Yes, because nobody else was doing it, to be very honest.
Okay.
And the optimization, yes. Putting in the right keywords, yes. Writing a lot of content non-stop, that this is my hotel, this is what I can help you.
Right.
I always wrote stories that, this person came in, this is what happened.
Right.
I had a blog
and the
section.
copy was so important for the website because that's what Google found.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And nobody else was doing it, and that, so it would rank in the same week. So I had 6, 7, on an average, first 4 positions after the big guys was only me.
Who were
on every page.
Was there paid then? Could people pay it? No, okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
So it was all organic, yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
I was like, this is working. But the thing was, I was not getting any business because everybody from North America and Europe would take 3 to 6 months to make a decision before they came to India. So a lot of back and forth, train kaun sa lena hai, gaadi kaun sa lena, all of that. So I was like, when am I going to actually take this to dad and say, see, this is working.
Right.
So people said, we're coming. We had dates. I had the inbox file, outbox file. These people are coming, itinerary, but there was no money. Then the advances started coming in, but there were no ways to get the advance. So I was like, fine, you come in, I'll block the rooms.
So no credit card or anything like that?
No, nothing at all. Nothing. Credit card came much later.
So they used to book it, but you didn't know. They might not even show up.
Exactly. So a few months, almost a year went like that. Then the first season we had, I don't remember the year, but we had about 60 people coming in. And I used to go to the airport, pick them up, come back. And I was like, I hope they're going to pay. They used to pay me in dollars, check into the room. I was like, this is working. So how do I double this? So then because I knew Dad will always be like, he'll never give me a pat on my back. Even today, he'll always be like, great, you found something. How can you double it? How can you, because if you found something, it's not going to remain forever.
Right.
Milk it or whatever as much as you can, as fast as you can. So I knew this is what he would say. So I made a couple of websites. Hotelajanta.com is what we had. Then we said ajantahotel.com, delhihotels.com, hotels. And I made multiple websites and I ranked all of them. Now I was dominating Delhi keywords. Went back to the forums, people said, you must go to the analytics to see what else people are searching for. So everybody was searching for travel to Agra, Jaipur, Kerala, and all of that. So then I started some travel websites. And then I told my mom to join the business because those websites, we were getting queries there as well. So now we had 4-5 files, one for this website inbox. We would print out all of the queries coming in and then tag them and then reply to each and every query like that.
Wow.
And
would you arrange, was part of the deal like you'd arrange people's trips so they would come to your hotel and you'd send them to Agra?
Delhi was our part and then everything else we would arrange. So that's why we started a travel company.
Which your mom was basically running? Or?
Yes, my mom joined the business and then she took it from there.
Wow, okay.
And then we had so much business. I remember me and dad sitting down and saying, we have enough business now. And, we've been leasing hotels in different parts of Delhi to give business to. I think we can buy another hotel.
So you were so overbooked at one point that were telling another hotel, hey,
almost 3 years we were overbooked.
Really?
3 years.
So did your life change at that point? Like were your parents like?
I had, the biggest change that happened in my life was that obviously the revenue doubled, everything doubled. But now I was having strategy discussions with the gentleman who wanted to throw me out of the house a few years ago. He was like, what are we going to do for the next season? I said, today I'm swamped. Let's talk tomorrow.
Wow. Did your dad pay off all his debt and stuff at that point?
No, he still hasn't.
Okay.
He likes to keep it on his books for whatever reason. Now it's a strategy call for
taxes,
him. But
it's good debt.
Yeah. Good
That's
debt.
fascinating.
Yeah.
So things take off. This is even before paid advertising.
Till now, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
Google was not in India.
That's crazy.
I had to use our cousin's father's account. He was a doctor in London. Say, can you use our account to start a Google advert campaign for us?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Google wasn't in India. TripAdvisor wasn't born or not in India. Facebook wasn't born. None of them.
Wow.
There was a small ecosystem. There was a company called Make My Trip or Yatra. We used to all CEOs of those companies used to all talk to me. I used to talk to them because the internet ecosystem was very small.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So like you're leasing space in other hotels and stuff. So then you said, okay, we need to buy another hotel?
I said, we can buy another hotel. Why are we giving so much business to these people? And then anyways, they don't take care of our customers like we have to. And then there were complaints coming in and all of that. So we said... Dad being dad, he said, okay, let's roll out an India-wide plan and we'll do hotels everywhere and I'll borrow from the bank. I said, no, we're not going as crazy as that. Let's just do the route, Agra, Jaipur and...
So in other words, you'd buy a hotel in Agra, you'd buy a hotel in Jaipur. So people from your hotel would be able to stay in your hotel in those places.
Exactly.
Okay.
But for many reasons, we went back and forth. None of the deals worked out. So we bought another hotel right next to our hotel.
Okay.
Like 10 feet from there.
Gotcha. Okay.
And by the way, now this hotel of ours, we had gone from 35 or 40 rooms to 60, 65 rooms.
You expanded it?
Yeah, we expanded it. Yeah, I missed that part. So first we expanded that part and then we bought another one.
Okay.
And then we bought another one and then we bought our final one in Goa, which is the resort. And
so 4 hotels in Delhi, 1 in Goa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So things just changed for us in those.
So how do you manage the hotel in Goa? It's so far away.
My brother lives there,
and
my mom and dad go back and forth and all of that. And plus, it's so cold in Delhi; they just love it. Yeah.
So this is all in that first 4 years where things are blowing up.
No, these were the first 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're part of the bit. You're still doing all that stuff, blowing up all the hotels. You guys have 5 hotels now.
Yeah.
And so you're already mastering.
We went to 5. Now we have 4 because when we bought the Goa place, we got rid of 1 because we wanted a bigger piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But we went to 5.
Okay. So so you're basically on the back end of all the digital marketing stuff. At that point,
I was bringing in 100% of the business.
Okay. So search engine optimization, Google through your uncle's account in London.
Yeah.
So when did so now we're probably 2006, 2007?
2005.
Okay. 2005.
Yeah.
Is that when you started your company?
No, so what happened was that then the word got around and then I got a call from a company.
That what? You're the guy to talk to in the hotel business?
Yes. In the hotel business, this guy knows about internet marketing. Digital marketing was not a term then. So then I got a call from
which you only knew about because you were using it to expand your business, but you learned
exactly
because it's applicable to any business, really.
To any business, absolutely. But people have a mindset to say, it's typecast in this business and there's a formula here. It won't work for my business. So that happened, and then people started calling me. I remember I got a call from Make My Trip and Yatra. We used to talk a lot, but those companies blew up, and there were various departments. And one of the departments called me from both the companies saying that we love the traffic on some of your travel websites, because by now I had 125, 130 websites.
Wow.
Because I just knew how to get traffic on websites. I just kept blowing them up. And
So like
Honestly,
for every destination, you had a website.
cheap air tickets India, cheap air tickets Delhi, cheap air tickets Jaipur, tourism India, tourism Rajasthan, tourism Delhi. Whatever I had with a suffix, I would start another website. Not all did well, to be very honest. About 25% of the sites did well, but that was
Whatever,
good enough.
yeah.
We were getting 100 new queries every day.
Damn.
With a 20% conversion rate, because mom and I used to reply to those people
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
So, 20% was
Is this
great.
when you're doing the video responses, or that comes
Exactly.
later?
Exactly. This is when the video responses started coming in, because that's when I used to put a small camera. I still have that camera with me in the office. That was mom's old Olympus camera, and I used to put videos. And I had a guy in my office who used to upload those videos.
It would take forever.
It would take a day or two. Most of the videos didn't make it to
Holy
the other
shit.
side. Yeah. Most of the videos didn't make it. He was like, upload
Right.
nahi hua, raat ko light chali gayi, all of that. So I said, forget it. Let's do the other one. So the videos that made it to the other side, they all came into confirmation, because they were like,
Wow.
put a map of Rajasthan at the back and say, you know what, this is how I'm going to take you, and this is that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then just send it to those people and say, you know what,
So they'd be like, this guy's legit, man. Like, 'cause
Exactly.
first of all, no one was even doing that.
Exactly, because I had by now taken 1 or 2 trips overseas, so I knew that you had to be legitimate and show legitimacy to be able to get overseas customers coming to a
Right.
small establishment in India. Otherwise,
Right.
they'll go to the big guys.
Right.
Yeah,
Which the big guys would never do that.
but even now,
I mean,
they
at that
don't.
point.
Even
Yeah.
now they don't. Even now
Wow.
they don't. Yeah,
That's
I
crazy,
don't know why
man.
people don't do video replies for everything.
Yeah.
So
I should start doing that.
yeah,
That's a
so
good
we do video today with an agency. We do video replies for everything. My in the last 1 year we started, 2 years, 1.5 years. We've cut down our travel costs by 60-70%, and there's so much resistance. 3 minutes before I entered your office, I sent a message to my guy in the office saying that I see that we've started traveling again, and he says it's only for this month. I'm like, yeah, but let's bring it down, because why do you need to travel?
Right.
Let's do videos. So anyways, I'll get to that point. Make My Trip, Yatra, all these big guys, they called, they said, we love the traffic on some of your travel websites and we want to do an affiliate with you.
So those they pay you to like kind of lease your website.
Yeah, so they pay me for every conversion the traffic that I send to their website, every conversion they'll pay me an amount.
Okay.
But I didn't understand it. And
Right.
I didn't want to sound like a fool. So I said, just
Yeah.
email me. I'll get back to you later.
Right.
I'm busy right now. So they emailed me exactly how it works.
Okay.
And so that's when I understood exactly what you said, that this is how it works.
Okay.
So they said, we'll give you 400 to 600 rupees for a domestic ticket, a couple of hundred rupees for an international ticket. I said, yeah, that works very well. And I forward the traffic. Let's see what happens. Out of all the travel websites, Cheap Air Tickets India did the best. And we were doing about 100 tickets, but average 50. It touched 100, touched 200 also a day, but we did about 50.
50 a day.
60, 50 tickets a day, which was about 20 to 30,000 rupees a day, which was $500 a day from now a third source. First was the hotel, then was the travel company, and then this was the ticketing
Dude,
side.
that's like
Exactly.
crazy.
Exactly. And this was all mine.
Wow.
This was not a family business.
It's like 10 grand a month, basically, at least.
It was never less than $20,000 a month.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. But I made a
That's
lot of mistakes.
crazy, man.
Because I should have now started understanding how paid and search go hand in hand,
Right.
all of that. So I just thought that my biggest learning at this stage was that every business has, if you don't pivot, if you don't make the right strategy calls, then it's not going to be there forever. So one day it died. And I always tell people that Cheap Air Tickets died, because I almost cried the day we got our last check, which was 30,000 for the whole month. Because Google changed its algorithm, we lost everything. Last check was 30,000. I'm telling you, I almost cried as if I've lost a family member.
Wow.
Because that sort of became my identity.
Right.
Because this is what I did for my dad's business. This is what I did when my mom joined my business, and everybody's taking credit for it, which is due to them.
Right.
But Cheap Air Tickets India, I was like, I know how to do this. Let me do it
Yeah.
in multiple domains. When I did it for ticketing, that was all mine. So I was like now thinking I'm going to dominate the world in my own head, get married to my childhood sweetheart and all of that. This is
Right.
my money. And it went down in 30 days.
Wow.
Yeah, we saw it coming, but in 30 days, we saw the slow death happening. But I should have reacted when everything was going right.
So when is this now? Where are we like?
Between 2005 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I built multiple other websites for that. So the travel company is doing well. The hotel is doing well. I started getting invited. By now, all these big guys are, all the Facebooks and the TripAdvisors and the Googles are now in India. And I knew the country head of every this thing, because, there were only a handful of people who
Right.
knew what this ecosystem is about.
Right.
And so the word got around and they said, why don't you come and speak? And so I said, sure. So I started going and speaking at various events across the world,
So like
across the India.
tech events. Or like, I guess
hotel marketing
business,
events.
Okay.
Hotel events,
Okay.
mostly
Would
hotel
you get paid
events.
to do that?
No.
No. Okay.
I started getting paid only 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it was all because of my fault. I never asked.
Right.
And so I went to these events and people would say, can you do this for me? And, is there a formula? And is there a template? Can you send me a PDF? And I was like, no, I'm just doing it. I don't even have a SOP.
Right.
There's nothing. We just stumbled upon something and we're doing it. And should there be an SOP? I started thinking to myself. That's when I went to Dad and I said, this is what's happening. He said, as long as it doesn't take the focus away from what's working.
Right. For him, that's the hotel business.
The hotel business and the travel company
Right.
and the other websites. He said, you know what, the thing is that you will have to pivot because the 5 years of success that you found, you're not going to get it for the next 5 years because, everybody knows what's happening and
Right.
now it's becoming,
So you have to do something different.
you have to do
Right.
something different. So it's maybe a good idea, but we didn't know how to run an agency. I don't even know what an agency was in terms of, I knew what the advertising agency was, but how do I charge retainer? What kind of form
Right,
should
right,
I,
right.
how,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do I
of
send a
course.
contract? What do I say when I want to hire people for an agency? What do I
Right.
say? So my hotel staff joined me in the agency. They're still with me. All the first four people of India.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So on 15th August 2009, we and by the way, all these big tech companies, all their country heads, they got me my first 4 clients. They said, you have to, Avi, you have to. And so I went and I gave a pitch, first pitch ever. Because I didn't know how to give
Yeah.
a pitch. I mean, I'm
Based on your own experience. Like,
Based
this
on
is
my
what I
own-
did.
Exactly.
And this is how I grew it.
Absolutely. And there's a friend of mine, Vrinda. I always take her name because she's a big HR lady in India. And I called her and I said, Vrinda, I'm getting, after all that I did, 2-hour pitch and everything. And, I make much more money in all these things that I'm doing. And I gave a 2-hour pitch and the guy is offering me a 60,000 rupee monthly retainer. And it's a very big brand. She said, Avi, if I were you, this was my first client ever. She said, if I were you, I would pay 60,000 to get that brand. So go for it. So I said, fine. So I signed that brand, and then we got another one. Then we got another one. After we got 4, then we said, okay, let's make a company out of it. So in 15th of August, it was a holiday, but that was the day then everything got solidified. 15th of August 2009, India Independence Day, Internet Moguls was born with a 4-member team. We officially said, this is internetmoguls.com, and we're riding high on confidence.
Right.
That's the only name I could think of.
Yeah.
We are Internet Moguls. And it had nothing to do with agency world or whatever.
Yeah.
Now people are like, what do you do? Internet Moguls doesn't signify
Yeah.
hotel marketing or whatever. But that was just my confidence based on good
Right.
things happening. I said, we are Internet Moguls. We are the Moguls. Started that website and went out into the market. And now in 10 years, we're now 225 people, work for 700 hotels in 10 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Wow, what a story.
Yeah, it's been
So
great.
where are the main offices?
So all of our people are in Delhi. In our
So 225 people in Delhi?
Yes, 225 people in Delhi. But we have about 15-20 people floating all over the country because once we get a big client, we see that proximity makes a difference.
So
they
they're
want-
in-house kind
yeah.
of for a while.
So we send people over there, or they're either working from a co-working space
Okay.
in the same city, or if the client gives us an office, then we work from there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So you work for big brands outside of India as well now, right?
Some of them. But the thing is that we mostly get business from those brands also, which normally give their business to their India subsidiary, and then the India subsidiary gives it to us.
Okay.
Yeah, for the hotel part. Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow, man. That's crazy. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
You just kind of stumbled upon it.
Exactly. So I it's all credit to my dad. He just said, I need to change the direction of my child's life. And he did.
Wow, man. That's unbelievable. What a story.
Yeah.
So now, but you live part-time in Canada, in Vancouver.
Yeah. So the other part of the story was that, like I said, my wife is an immigration attorney now. She's
You met her in India?
yeah. We went different
Is she your childhood
universities.
sweetheart? Did you marry her? Is that
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you did marry her.
Yeah. So she wanted to become a criminal lawyer, and I was a marketing guy. And I said, okay, let me search up. If I need to get her more business after we get married, I'll have to go to jail because that's where the criminals are. And I'll say, my wife can get bail, get out. So that's how the marketing happens. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. So let's do something different. Let's have a niche thing. My niche is working in hospitality. You should also do something niche. And she's just definitely one of the top 10 attorneys in Vancouver now. But for
Did
her
she do
work
her
ethic,
schooling in India or schooling here?
both. She
Both,
did her law
okay.
here and then she did her degrees over there.
Okay.
But then I said, let's do immigration and all of that. It's very different. So thankfully she said yes. And, she started, we set up an immigration firm. And then she said, we need to go travel back and forth to Canada to see what's happening over there.
Why'd you
Maybe
pick
have-
Canada?
Many of my friends were moving there,
Uh-huh.
and it just seemed like, everybody wanted to go. Even now, everybody wants to
Yeah.
go to Canada.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it was either Canada or Australia. We went to both places to find partner offices and see what other people are doing. And an Indian consultant, you need an overseas person to help you with your whatever. So we did that, going back and forth. Then she said I should get my own degree and I should, be my own lawyer instead of depending on somebody. So that means that we should apply for a PR and get our citizenship and maybe get a house and maybe get up an office, maybe have the kids born here. And she led me into it. She always
Women are always smarter.
yeah,
man.
yeah. So she was like, by the time I realized it, we had 2 kids and a beautiful house in Vancouver and an office. And I'm like, what am I doing? My office is over there.
Wow.
And but I always travel back and forth. And I've been doing that for 10 years.
Wow.
In fact, somebody told me that, what are you doing all this video stuff and all of that? You should be teaching people how to live in 2 countries and manage a business out of that.
That's funny, man. So you do like basically month here, month there,
Yeah.
month here, month there.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the videos though. So
Sure.
you were sending these videos out to get your
Right.
initial customers.
Right.
But that culture or that mechanism has really kind of sustained itself
Exactly.
through all these years. And you were just talking
Yeah.
to me now. You were sending videos to
Right.
one, tell me a little bit about that and how do you instill that
Sure.
into the culture of your workplace?
Sure. So what happened was that now I came to, so videos for a guy who used to stammer was, for me, a video camera was my friend. I used to have a dog. It's a funny story, but I used to have a dog. My favorite dog, his name was Dude. And so I used to, after he died, I called my camera Dude for some reason. I just felt comfortable in front of the camera. I needed the camera to have a name, and my camera was called Dude. And I could do anything. I was invincible in front of the camera. And so that was my own relationship with the camera. When I got into this, that I have to live in multiple countries and do all of this, then I knew that I have to become more efficient, and I cannot take care of my existing clients by meeting them every time and saying everything is okay, because I was doing that for the longest time. And I was like, this year I took 104 flights and this year I took 110 flights. And this is what I was on. I was like, this is wearing me out. And one of my very good friends who's a doctor, he said, Avi, you'll die. I said, I gave up most of the vices. He said, no, that's okay, but you're taking too many flights and this is going crazy. So I knew something had to change. So I said, let's get back to video. So I started sending videos for getting clients, for pitching. Now we do every Tuesday. Tuesday is our day. We make 10 videos, 10 new pitches, and they're very solid pitches. Video proposals, video follow-up, and video for client reviews. It started working. We started getting clients. People are okay. Then for our existing clients, because the project manager says, sir, it's okay because you and your brand and all of that, people say yes to you, but they don't say yes to us. And we were losing our clients because you've said no to travel. So I said, okay. So I emailed and sent videos to multiple clients, and I said, give you 5%.
You personally?
Yes. I said, I'll give you 5% off on the yearly renewal for the next year's contract if we can do 50% meetings on video. 10% of them said yes. So slowly in the last 2 years, I brought the culture to now about 50% of the clients have said, okay, if a video meeting can happen, then we don't need to travel. Even within New Delhi.
So you mean like a FaceTime? A FaceTime or whatever, Skype, whatever it is.
Zoom calls we do.
Right.
So we have different, like this kind of a beautiful setting. We have various Zoom rooms and agenda set, and we do the meeting. So it saves 2 hours travel time. Because for me now, the biggest challenge was that I did not want to miss out on my girls. I never thought I'll be the father who's missing out on plays and all of that. And I became exactly that. And when I would say, okay, forget it, I'm spending my time in Vancouver, then my business, which I took so many years to set up, was
suffering.
Yeah. So I was like, gone are the days. I'm thought to myself, gone are the days that, you have to, give up something to get something. And why can't I do videos? So when my videos are working, my team was like, it's not working for us. We gave a system to them. System didn't work. Then I realized everybody needs a proper template. So we made nice Zoom rooms and everything, gave the customers 5, 7, 10% off, all of those things. And now we started doing videos for everything. Everybody thought this was a very interesting way of doing business. So some of India's very highly successful business coaches, they invited me to say that, we're coaching people, 100, 200, 300, 400 people in our annual seminar. Why don't you come and talk about your video mastery program? And I said, we don't have a video mastery program. It's just, he said, you don't have a program, you don't have a name, what do you call it and all of that. So I worked with a very good friend of mine, Gopal. He helped me coin the term micro video mastery, and we made a triangle around it. He said, what are your things? So I said, my number one thing right now is to spend time with my family, which means my mom and dad and my, in 2 different countries. Equally important to me. I have to take care of my girls, my wife and my 2 kids, and my mom and dad here. And I have to take care of the business. Who's more important? I said, All of them.
It's all equal, right?
It's all equal, because if I don't have money, I can't take care of them. If I don't have, I need to be happy to take care of them. Everything. I can't say, okay, fine, I'm happy with it sounds very good on paper. I sacrifice everything for my kids, but if I'm not happy, I'm not going to be a happy father. I need my business to be. This triangle, does it work? Parents, this thing and all of that. So we made a triangle like that. We said micro video mastery. It helps you. If you make all these pieces of the triangle work, you find happiness inside. So we made a diagram around it, and I started going for some trainings. Those trainings started doing very well because it came from, like it happened in my earlier story. It just came from a need.
It's organic.
It's organic. People loved it, and so they said, "Can you come for one other company and all of that?" And I said, "I'm now going to start charging." I started charging for these trainings, and I'm like, "Oh, forget. What am I doing now?"
So that's another business.
I said, now I'm traveling again to promote these trainings, and what am I doing? So I said, no, I'm not coming for these trainings because I'm getting on the road. I love it. It became a concept. So then I put it into a program, and now I do 2 webinars a week. And there are about 400-500 people come in, and I only teach.
Like live?
Yes, live. And now I only teach there, and I do few events, in-person events.
So you do like 400 or 500 people come in a week?
Every webinar.
Every webinar?
Yeah.
Like different people?
Different people.
Holy crap.
And those people, then I sell up the course, I sell a program at the end of it. People who buy the program, then they come into my every Saturday training, which is again through a webinar. Okay. And then I teach them all year round.
Wow, that's
awesome. So that's business I can do from anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So you just set up either your phone or whatever.
I mostly use only my phone. My team doesn't like it because, the vertical video and the sound and all of that.
Right.
And this is what you're teaching people, and then you should have a better laptop and everything. So, but if I'm traveling, like I did it from New York day before yesterday, then I did it from Orlando. So this is what I'm telling people. All you need is a smartphone to be able to set up a business in today's day and age and have that MVM lifestyle.
Right. That's wild, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this like online marketing. Like Bedros has one. I mean, all entrepreneurs kind of have one. Yeah. I find it so fascinating how that's a way to really scale, man.
Because the thing is that today, like never before, you can put your life experiences into bite-sized video lessons and sell it to somebody because the other person has not walked that path. But you know what? I'm not an expert is what 99% of the people, including me, used to say. I'm not an expert yet in this field.
Right.
But what I was taught by, like I follow Pat Flynn and all of these people. They're amazing human beings. And most of them say for example, you're in grade 9. If you can teach somebody who's in grade 8, if you're just 1 year ahead of him in math, you can teach grade 9 math to somebody there. That's all you need.
Right.
Just a little bit being ahead of somebody else.
Right.
So that completely changed, my perspective on what all I can teach. And now we do micro video mastery for getting a job, MVM for getting a raise, MVM for signing a client, MVM for whatever you want. So how do you create videos? Because what you can do with that is have a studio as beautiful as this, set it up, nice couch, set it up, and then, tell your kids and your family and say, you know what, I'm going to be with you in a while, or just pause it for now, go back, take care of your family responsibility, and still continue to grow your business, put on your Zoom, you want to invest money, Facebook ads, but you don't need to leave. It's a location-free business.
Right.
So that is what I feel every human being wants today.
Unbelievable, man. Yeah. So how do you market it? Is it just
Facebook, right now, Facebook ads, and I have a very solid email list, so I use that.
From your websites or from
the email list?
Yeah.
The email list I continue building, so I keep making lead magnets. So I'm traveling around the world. So what I learned in 2019 after traveling to 16 countries and still handling my business and growing from there, 10 steps what you can do, have a location-free business. And so people give me their email address, and I in turn give them that free piece of lead magnet or whatever, and that's how I collect my emails.
It's amazing, man.
Because email I find is something which is going to be mine. Facebook and all people say that they're going to die and all that.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing, man. Yeah. Wow. I mean, listen, I could. What minute are we at? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, we could go on forever, but IGTV will only allow me to post 1 hour video, man. Dude, this was awesome, man. I really love this. I love your story. I love your energy, and you're just like an amazing entrepreneur, man. It's just a crazy, awesome entrepreneurial story, man. And your journey I think it's just going to inspire me. So I'm sure it's going to inspire many more, man.
It's what, like I said, people inspire people by just being who they are. Like, you're sitting there, you're asking me the question, but I'm getting inspired looking at you saying that I want to look like this guy. So whatever you do in your life and you stay consistent, people are automatically getting inspired by what you're doing. And so I don't know, whenever people say, great entrepreneurial story, I'm like, did I go to school for it? Self-doubt. Did I do this? Am I an entrepreneur? Could I have done better? But I just feel every human being has a story, and there are great entrepreneurs like yourselves who make such a great setup to get, allow us to share stories. So some people can get inspired.
Well, it's almost selfish because I love hearing the stories myself.
Hey, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I feel, this is something I say all the time. We have to be selfish, because unless I am happy and taken care of, how can I take people? Have no money, have no, lots of things missing in their life, and the first thing they say, I want to make an impact. I think it's bullshit. People, how can you? The very few people, Swami Vivekananda saying, I was born to make an impact. You're happy, you learn things, you imbibe things, and that's when you say, it's overflowing, now I want to give it.
Yeah.
How can you pour from an empty cup? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I feel.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Well, it was awesome. It was such a pleasure meeting you, man.
Same, my pleasure is all mine.
Wonderful. And I look forward to more of these, man.
100%.
I look forward to learning from you more in the future, my man.
Anytime. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome, man. Thank you for listening to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. The audio for this podcast can be found on Apple's iTunes and SoundCloud. The corresponding video can be found on YouTube, IGTV, and Facebook. Let's get it.